Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. It's transfer deadline day. Welcome to it. What are we going to see? Well, I think some clubs are going to be very busy. I think some are going to do nothing. Probably my club, Manchester United. But one club that will do something in the midfield area is Arsenal. Jorginho. Look, I get it. Arsenal fans probably are a little bit unhappy, maybe uninspired by this deal. I think it's a good deal, and I'll tell you why. But look, the issue is Caicedo. You've offered way more than he's worth. I get that frustration. As much as £75 million apparently on the table. That's just a club in Brighton who are saying no. That's just pure stubbornness. Call it what you like. It's stubborn. They're not selling. They just won't do it. £75 million for Caicedo is ridiculous. I thought 60 was top end. I think anything above that is ridiculous. It shows you Arsenal's desire and drive to bring in the right sort of player to help them win the title. I don't think as an Arsenal fan you can moan about the way the Caicedo deal has been dealt with. I think Arsenal timed it well. I think they offered the right money. The player pushed for it, and Brighton have just gone no. And this is the problem you have. The Premier League is the Super League now. And people think, well, Chelsea have got a lot of money, Arsenal have got money. So has Brighton. Brighton have got money. Everton have got money. Everybody earns good money in the Premier League. You can't necessarily bully a club anymore. You can't even force your way out of a club now, as Caicedo has seen. So, look, it must be massively frustrating not to get Caicedo, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So then you're in a situation where hours are ticking down and you're like, well, what can we do in the final hours of the transfer window? Because anywhere we go with 70 million, people are going to want 70 million. And who's going to want to do a deal on transfer deadline day? So you put yourself in a position, which is one that I think Manchester United should have put themselves in but refused to, where you go, well, look, we need something. If anything happens to Partey or Xhaka, the title race could be over. We could collapse completely. So where do you find a bargain that's Premier League proven that can come in and do a job? And I think Jorginho is really intelligent as a signing. Because what people are missing here is a player that's... Look, I wanted Jorginho at Man United probably 2 or 3 years ago. I like what he does. He takes the ball off the back four, he sits in front of the back four and he dictates the play. Over the last 18 months, he's fell off, and he's fell off big time. I think the Euros was his peak, when he played in the final for Italy, and he sort of fell off since then. And I think he's been in need of a change from Chelsea for quite a while. Well, look, if he comes to Arsenal, it's inspiring. It's a title race. It's a new surrounding. You've got a manager like Arteta who has produced wonders with most players that he's brought under his wing. And I think Jorginho could really suit the way that Arsenal want to play as well and offer you something a little bit different, a bit of control. It's a risk. Of course it's a risk. But if you can get him anywhere near what he was like 2 years ago and then adapt him into the Arsenal team, this is not a player that's going to start for you anyway. You're looking for somebody to give you squad options. I think it could work really, really well. And I think people who are not inspired by it are actually being a little bit disrespectful to Mikel Arteta, who... You've got to look at his record and go, well, he is a developer of players. So if he has targeted Jorginho as the player to bring in, I think this could work really, really well. And we've seen these sort of signings happen before, where you bring an experienced player into a squad. Look at Christian Eriksen at Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying that Jorginho is as good as Eriksen. They're different positions. But he brought something in those early few months that really stabilised that midfield and the experience in the Premier League proven. So I think... Arsenal fans have got to be disappointed. Of course you have. Caicedo would have been such a big boost to the team and, it's a major signing. But it's not happened. And you therefore just have to pick yourselves up and go, we're still top of the league. We've still got a good team. We can't do nothing. You can't just go, well, we didn't get Caicedo, let's come back in the summer. You can still do that. But the reason the offer was so big and desperate in a sense was because you desperately wanted a midfielder. You're now going to bring Jorginho in, and that is far better than nothing. And look, there are better alternatives, but those alternatives are not going to be available in the January transfer window with hours left. So I think it's a good deal. I think there's an element of risk, there always is, but I think it's a good deal. It provides you with cover. I look at that Arsenal bench, and that's always been I said at the start of the season, I think Arsenal are a good side, but I think the next phase for Arteta is to build a bench. He's took them to the top of the league, and now, maybe in the summer he was going to build his bench. He needs to build his bench now. Trossard, the Polish centre-back, Jorginho. Do they all start? Probably not. But it's remarkable, really, what Arsenal have done. You're top of the league. You deserve to be there. You're the best team in the league. And in the January transfer window, he's added 3 bench players of real quality. that you didn't have. So suddenly, when you start seeing Arsenal's match day in a couple of weeks' time against Man City, what you should see is a really good, strong first 11 and a really good bench. And to be able to do that in January is to be commended. Now, obviously, if you add Caicedo, that bench looks even stronger because you can't play Caicedo, Partey and Xhaka, so one of them is going to be sat on your bench. But, you know, I think when Arsenal look back at this in May, and if they're holding up the Premier League title, I think you need to look back at today and go, you know, that was a really good bit of business by the club and Arteta. You know, it didn't go the way we wanted it to do. We did everything we could to get Caicedo, and then we went and got somebody else. And the key is, and United are in this position, and I think Spurs are in it, and look, I'm surprised Newcastle haven't done much either. There is an opportunity to have a really good season. Don't be sat there in May going, I wish we'd done it in January, because Arsenal haven't done that. And you cannot, you've got to ride the disappointment. You know, it's like life, isn't it? You hit a disappointment. Do you just sit there and go, oh, forget it? Or do you think, well, look, this is really disappointing not getting Caicedo, but are we going to compound that disappointment by doing nothing, or are we going to go out and do something? Because the reality is, Arsenal fans are probably going, oh, I want Caicedo, I want Caicedo, I want Caicedo. Arsenal board and Arteta are sat there right now going, knowing they're not getting Caicedo. So moaning about it and tweeting about it and everything else like that, they know they're not getting him. So they're in a position where, well, it's Caicedo or nothing. Well, it can't be nothing. What else can we do? And that's why the Jorginho deal is being looked at. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how he does. I think it boosts the squad. Admittedly, he's not been brilliant over the last 18 months. But I think a new surrounding, a title race, and a new manager who wants him, and I think this could be a masterstroke by Arteta. You know, all I would say is, yeah, you know, there are other signings, but look at what United did with Eriksen. It's that sort of a deal where you're bringing somebody in, and can they respond to that? And if he does, it strengthens Arsenal's squad, which is what it's all about in these crucial next few weeks. He's not going to go straight into your team. Maybe that's where Caicedo would have maybe gone straight into your team, but I don't think he would have done straight away anyway. Even if you had Caicedo, would he have started against Man City in 2 weeks' time? Probably not, because Partey and Xhaka would start. So it's not dissimilar situation. I still think you would have had a £70 million player on your bench instead of Jorginho, but obviously long term, I think Arsenal have got to try and go back in the summer and get that deal done. As a United fan, I hope maybe we can go in and get that deal done. And maybe that's the frustration for Arsenal, because maybe Chelsea will go back in as well. There'll be other people going in for Caicedo now. But, you know, Caicedo may have had his disappointment of Arsenal, you know, linger on until the summer and only have eyes for Arsenal now. So, but you've got to adapt. You've got to adapt in life, and you've got to adapt in football. And I think Arsenal have. And you know what? I've predicted about Arteta before, and I'm ready to do it again. I think this Jorginho deal might actually work out all right for them. Let's wait and see. Anyway, smash a like on the video, subscribe. I'm sure we'll be back today with more videos about response. I mean, Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea is probably going to happen very soon as well. And I'm sure there'll be some other drama throughout the day. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in a bit.